Hey, Brenda Lee here. One of the topics that comes up often with people, especially who are post-divorce or even with employees, this happens all the time where people really want to pour into people and build people up and do all this kind of stuff. But the reality is people show you who they are. They show you who they are within the first hour of meeting them. If there are deficiencies or there are discrepancies or there are red flags for you, trust your gut. Trust your instinct, because they really truly are showing you who they are. And one of the topics one of the things that I often have my companies do, my organizations do when they're doing interviews is to do an experiential interview. We're all about experience here at Modig Leadership, right? Everything is a submersive experience. I do not prefer to do Zoom training or that kind of stuff, right? Because you just can't get the dynamic with people. You can't get the experience like you can in person because the energy is just different in the way people behave, the things you're able to see, their lack of presence when they're on Zoom and they're checking 28 emails, all that kind of crap, right? So it's really important to have an experience. Well, it's the same thing when you're interviewing people, where if you take them out to lunch, take them out on running errands, see how they behave. Do they say thank you? Do they open the door? What is their character? Now, obviously, you're going to get the best case of them right then and there, but you want to know if their best case is kind of crappy. You don't want that person in your organization. I am a huge advocate that the people you hire are critical for your organization's success. They either will make or break. Now, can we develop leaders? Abso-freaking-lutely. Ones that are hungry and eager and desire to grow and to develop into a rocking human being. Absolutely, we develop leaders. That's what we do. We transform leaders and leadership teams, right? But we can only do it if they're willing. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. So if you engage with someone and right out of the gate, you're feeling like, oh man, like this just isn't a good fit. This personality, they were kind of snarky to the gal that just brought them their water, or they ignored them and didn't say thank you, right? These are all cues of their character. If that's character issues for you that you're concerned with in your organization, they showed you who they are. You can't change people. You can transform someone's skill set, someone's desire to be what they to be at their peak potential, but everybody can operate at their peak potential. The caveat is, do they want it? If they don't want it, it doesn't matter. I turn clients out. In fact, I just talked a guy out a couple weeks ago who came to me, was referred to me as a divorce client, and I literally talked him out of working with me because I was like, listen, if you're not ready, this is hard work. It's going to be tough. There's going to be times you want to quit. And if you don't have that tenacity, and this is how I flush them out, right? Because I'm in the business of transformation, it doesn't do me any good to take on a client, to take their money, to spend their time, to whatever, if I know that they're not ready to get the transformation. He may come back to me a year from now and be ready, but today he wasn't ready. And I flat out talked him out of it. And there was no question. He kind of giggled. I actually saw him at an event later, a couple days later. And he kind of giggled and was like, yeah, kind of blew it off. And I was like, I knew it, right? Like hit the nail on the head. He's just totally not ready. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with these people. But if you have a set of criteria, and again, this goes with dating, you've got a set of criteria. If they don't meet it, do not waste your time. They have showed you who they are. There are plenty of people out there who really desire and want to grow and be developed. And my assistant is one of them right now. She's like, frick yeah, like she takes from a fire hose, whatever you can give me, whatever you can help me with. She's eager. She wants to grow and grow and grow. She's friggin' 21 years old and she's got a pretty killer career set ahead of her because she desires to do it, right? I would not take on a 21-year-old if she wasn't a good fit, right? And so it really just matters on these people that you surround yourself with, because remember, we become the sixth of the top 5 people we hang out with. We are the sum of the top 5 people we hang out with. I've heard it said different ways, right? Like it doesn't matter. The 5 people you're spending the most time with now, this can be colleagues. And this is why I'm so passionate about transformation within teams, because when the whole team is on board and it gets infectious, when we spend most of our time with the people we work with, right? And so when those people are kicking ass and taking names and full of life and hungry for growth and cheering each other on and celebrating, and they're not living in jealousy and negativity and all this other gossip and this lack of cross-department collaboration that happens within organizations, when they're behaving in that way, people just go in and collect a paycheck. And that is why we had the Great Resignation, because organizations didn't recognize how important their culture was, how important their people are, and how important it is to take care of those people and that culture. I have a company right now who somebody had left our company for tens of thousands of dollars more, same job, tens of thousands of dollars more money to a company here locally, which I won't share for confidentiality reasons. 6+ months later, she's come crawling back to this organization that I've been working with saying, I love your culture. I want to be back. I don't care what kind of pay cut I have to take, because people desire to be around people. We're discovering the people we surround ourselves with really matters. And unfortunately, we spend a lot of our time with people at work. And so, like we said, you become the 6th of the top 5 people you hang out with. So choose carefully who you're hanging out with. Choose carefully what you allow in. Choose carefully what you listen to when other people are talking or gossiping or going down that road where you choose to just shut that down. Because here's the deal. When people, especially in organizations, when you've got a gossiper, and I say this all the time, and I actually teach HR a lot about this, where they're like, well, oftentimes they come in and they talk to me about stuff because I'm HR and it's safe. And I'm like, you're only safe in that regard because you're allowing them to come do that. If they're coming to you with a challenge that they need help with, that they keep bucking up against, somebody's not performing, that's one thing. But to come in and gossip, the only reason they're doing that is because you're listening. When you stop listening and you change your behavior and you change the way that you respond to them, and you're continually redirecting them back to, oh, okay, well, what does this mean for you? How can you improve? And continually batting them back to reflecting on them, their self, and their performance, pretty soon, it's not fun anymore for them to come in and chit chat with you about the gossip at the water cooler, right? And so it radically changes the way that people will engage with you when you behave this way as well. People show you who they are, yet we hold on to this hope. We fall in love with the hope of who we think that person is. We fall in love with their potential. This happens all the time with people when they're dating. You fall in love with the potential of someone because, especially if you're someone who does self-development and self-growth, you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't that hard. If they just wanted to, they could really radically change the way that they behave and they act and they engage, and the joy that they would have in their life. We fall in love with a hope of that person instead of the reality of who they really are. Because again, people show you who they are. Stop trying to mold them, shape them into something they aren't. Doesn't mean they can't learn skill sets. Doesn't mean they can't learn discipline. Doesn't mean they can't learn communication skills. We teach all that crap all the time, all day, every day, right? That can happen. But as long as their character within them has a desire to get them there. So I really want to encourage you, if you're in an organization and in a crappy relationship, if you have been dealing with any kind of crappy relationship, whether it be organization or dating, if you're stuck in that relationship and you've desired for shift to happen and it's not happening, then at some point you got to cut it loose. You get to decide enough is enough. I choose not to be bogged down with this negative energy. I'm choosing to grow, scale, move up. And you're going to take off and run once you cut that energy. We have a tendency within organizations, especially, I deal with this all the time with C-suite, that they want to just hang on to this person out of some loyalty or something that's happened, and they're not doing what's best for their organization. They're not making the hard decision because they feel bad, or they feel obligated, or they feel loyal, or they feel guilty, and they're not handling that person for who they are. The honoring thing to do would be to give them parameters and say, listen, we need to see this out of you. If we don't, it's just not a good fit for us. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with like you as a person. Some other organization, you'll work great. But for today, it's not going to be a good fit. So we turn them loose and we just say, go do what you need to do. Find an organization where you fit well in, and it's okay. We love you. We're sending you out in love. This isn't an anger thing. This isn't an ugly thing. I could go on about the whole dating thing where breakups don't have to be ugly. They can be done in love, where it's like, listen, you have all these attributes and the rest just isn't a fit for me. So I wish you well. I hope the best for you. I'm here for you if you ever need anything, and Go be you, man. I don't want to change you. I don't want to cause you any angst or whatever, but it's just not a right fit for me. And that's okay. And then everybody gets set free. Everybody gets to move on in the best way possible. Same thing with organizations. Now the organization gets to move forward in a killer, awesome, massive way. So just remember, People do show you who they are. You just have to be willing to be observant and watch and see and really take the facts for the facts instead of making up and conjuring up this hope of the potential you wish that they had. If you like our videos, subscribe to our channel, share us with somebody if you think it might resonate with them. Click on the bell to get notified when we have new videos come out. We pop them out every Friday with the exception of maybe a mom mistake every now and again, right? Which it does happen. But for the most part, every Friday, you can count on us giving you some killer content, we hope, that is helpful for you and bolsters your knowledge as you navigate this life as the best kind of leader that you can possibly be. We'll see you on the other side.